Let's go. That's the part I was getting confused at the end. I was looking for a third 3D clan member, but it's only 2 of them this time. I think last time when B competed in the Liddicourse tournament at the start of the year, it was B, Dark, and Garna, if I recall correctly. Because I think Dark, if I'm not mistaken, was the team manager. But this time around, looks like it's going to be Coin instead. If you're not familiar with Coin, very talented person. Regular scrim partner for a lot of the players who qualified to World. Very talented player out of Japan. Used to go by the name Psyark, played in StarCraft 2. Definitely a very talented player. And then, of course, their opponents on the other side, Striker, a familiar face in the Age of Empires community. I'm sure I don't need to introduce him to you folks. And then when we move across, everyone's favorite slippery sausage is the one and only Salami, playing here as the English. And then rounding it out, of course, we're going to have Zertin, Mind Sanity's most recent signing. Of course, teammates with the runner-up at Red Bull LoL Legacy. Let's see what they can do, because we have got an interesting clash of what should be aggression in the other game here. You're noticing that we have got a Mongol player, a Chinese player, and a French player. So 2 civs that can definitely get down and dirty in the early ages, and one that potentially wants to boom. And on the other side, we've got French again, but joined by English and Mongols. So Mongol-French on both sides, English and Chinese the variable. Want to see if we're going to get this kind of boom-up approach out of the English and the Chinese player, or if they're going to try to fold themselves in the early aggression. If they do, there's an interesting dynamic here, because Chugen Nu en masse can be good against Lombo, but in small numbers tend to get overran due to the range difference. Let's see if it gets to that stage where you're able to snowball that many troops, because right now, Salami is already choosing to be a pain in the arse. Of course, you pick the English, you've got your short bows. There's only one move, right? Only one thing you could possibly do. He's going for the short bow rush. And he's going to be looking for the gold. Here it is on the south side. Problem is the tech up's already underway. I think this was also scouted out. So Dark will... Whoa, no, they don't know. And he's following the line. He's always in the fog. If he just follows this round, he should be able to get in position. Dark will get enough gold for the first night unless he drops a mill. This is very important. The timing on this is critical. If Salami goes in too soon, a mill won't be dropped, wheelbarrow won't be researched. But if he waits long enough, the gold that you need for the first night might be used on wheelbarrow instead. Just getting info right now. I mean, this is going to be tight. Looks like the mill is now being built. He's going to reveal too soon. It's so close. The scouting info is coming around the backside as well, so it's being rushed. Zertin is also joining in. And it looks like the mill won't even be complete. Villagers will at least move in. We'll look to snipe down a Villi here. And maybe they can get at least one. It looks like they are going to be denied. He'll now set up an outpost into a mining camp. But now Dark has enough for the first night. He did not invest in the wheelbarrow. This is a very... Wait, what? Okay, Dark has gone for the wheelbarrow. In fairness to him, Zertin did bring spears as well, right? So if he just goes for a first night, it's not going to do anything. Instead, I think he just accepts his fate, and he says, teammates, come save me. But that was a very bold choice. Most players would have just got the first night out. They would have looked for some, like, interception when new troops are running across the battlefield or whatnot. Instead, he says, the efficiency and the ability to move my economy is more important. He will be getting wheelbarrow. Very surprising choice here. So Skull Cavalry is going to be complete. Now, Dark can still build horsemen. However, he's going to build them slowly. He is on berries, and yeah, he's out of cheat. Has he got a scout coming home soon? Because, oh boy, he doesn't. All right, this is going to be problematic then. He's lacking food. If he gets pushed off the north side here, Dark is going to be feeling the darkness. There's not going to be... He's going to be numb inside. Linkin Park's going to be on repeat in the background because he doesn't have food anywhere. The closest is deer to the north side of his base. So if Salami now brings in a few of these longbowmen, if he gets them in position, Dark has nothing. Yeah, and that's why he's going to prep the horsemen ahead of time. Says can't afford to be boxed in like that. Woodline is going to be protected for the moment. B is guarding Dark here. Don't be confused. These are friendly Mongol spearmen. The red ones are the ones you should be worried about. And triple outpost layering. Interesting choice here. B for the time being is just going to be forced to push plenty of spears. And In the center, Koinu has set up an archery range to assist if need be, but his primary focus is, of course, going to be on getting Song Dynasty here. Probably looking to drop a Barbican around the center to block off the shortest route for the Lombos. Back at home, it's going to be the Silver Tree coming out from Zerton. So, respectable choice here. Definitely a good map for it on the pit. Should be fairly feasible to get the trade going with limited views on it from your opponent. We should start seeing Knights pumped out by Striker as well. True to his name, he will look to strike. There's the outpost now being garried. I mean, this is a tough one. Dark had to do it, but it doesn't feel good. Him and B could lose a lot of troops here. Villager's going to try to rush repair. Is going to be forced to peel back. But it looks like the Horsemen are going to pick him apart. Good maneuvering by Dark. Spearmen need to stand their ground and fight right now. They have no interest in doing so, despite the fact they have the hardened upgrade, but the Spears on the other side don't. In fact, maybe it feels like you should be guarding the secondary one. Fortification's not going to come through quick enough. 3 seconds away. It's too late. Salami has to rush repair. And he gets it just in time. Loses 2 villagers in the process, though. And you have to wonder if Zerton had just assisted with the spears, maybe on the scouts. Could this have looked better for them? I think so. Outpost is still going to go down. You can see as it gets close to being done, Dark sticks on top of it, just looking for the villagers coming out. The villagers are going to get body blocked out, so it looks like that's going to be 5 in the gutter now for Salami. 1 at least, no, not able to garrison. Striker now does arrive with the Knights. He needs to kill just as many villagers for this to be worthwhile. This clash is getting messy on both sides. Horsemen are going to commit to the torch, though. B is even going to lose the Khan in the process. Knights are going to be able to swarm over this. Not enough spears in the area for B here. Only 2 of them. And the outpost will be able to make short work of them, so the pressure keeps on being renewed in the area. More Knights are coming behind this. Barbican is going to be set up forward towards the center by Koinu to try and alleviate some of the incoming forces, to relieve that pressure on the Dark. For the time being, the Knights are going to keep it that way. Pressure focused on the Frenchman in blue. Knights, whew, will garrison just in time or not. You gotta love how often they garrison and then die upon arrival inside. There should be another one going down. Yeah, he's gonna come out to a mess. So all dead. After all that, I'm not sure they got what they wanted out of that. Especially with Silver Tree trade also being prepped by B. Song Dynasty being online for Koinu. If you think about it, Dark sacrificed himself so they could get their strong points in the other 2 players. And I think they've done that. And I'm not sure that for the investment made by Zerton and Salami, especially, that you really got your value out of that. It's a tough one. Especially for Salami. Losing those 5 villagers like that is going to slow you down. I mean, I don't think you killed that many on the other side. So now the pressure is relieved. Wouldn't be surprised if Dark considers just going for a double TC build and spams Knights. That would allow him to somewhat mirror what Striker's doing on a delay. And it's not too bad in team games to have to mirror certain things your opponents are doing. In 1v1s, it's very bad because you're just playing from behind, right? But in team games, there's other variables to consider here. Your Knights are still going to be incredibly valuable. They're going to create a buffer in these later fights. And your other 2 players should be the boomers, right? You can already see B is setting up for trade, so that's going to be his boom method. And in the center, you've got a Chinese player that's gone for Song Dynasty and would probably like to go for a secondary TC. What does that mean? Well, that means someone has to be the non-greedy, right? Someone has to accept that they are scraping the bottom of the barrel. And that person should be Dark in this game. I know secondary TC sounds pretty greedy, but realistically, it's not too bad in team games like this. It doesn't come across as too greed, especially if you wait until, say, 12 minutes to do it, which should be the correct timing, right? At that stage, maybe you set up a second TC on the wood line and you set up farms in that area after you're done with the deer. Do love that he's playing deer, by the way. You know, you just saw your opponents throw away a lot of early control with their attempt. So now they're probably going to have to forfeit a lot of map to you. Especially what Koinu is doing. Just quick walling here as the Chinese can. Not quick walling in the traditional sense. Just it's quick walls because it's Chinese and they build them so much quicker. Man, Zern is a lot slower on trade, isn't he? It's actually crazy how far ahead B is. B invested in a lot of spearmen, but despite that, he's looking a lot better for wear. I mean, we've got how many? What, like 6? 4 traders so far. Yeah, this is a tough one right now. Unless Certain gets double trade set up. Would have loved to have seen an EV set up over here with a marketplace and just get double trade going. Instead, Certain is prepping for a lot of military push. Pash is also being layered in. Because Salami wanted the deer. Oh dear, oh dear. For good reason, though. He has made his way up in the castle. Interesting that Salami didn't take the central deer first so that his teammate could actually have this deer instead. And now that he's teched up, that is a big advantage coming because Salami can start to push out knights next. Someone asking when the 3v3 tournament starts. I believe the qualifiers are something like 18th, 20th November, something like that. And then the main event kicks off towards the end of November into December. That's what these players are practicing for right now. It was actually quite the treat to see that 2 of the teams were clashing already on the ladders. Look forward to seeing more of this in the coming days and weeks. Tech Up's also being prepped for B now. Already underway from Dark, so it seems like he wants to make that 1-2 step fast up into Castle here, so no intent to go for a secondary TC. A very interesting choice considering the value your French Knights have at this stage in the game. But probably his thought process here is if he just plays Prolonged Feudal and Striker does too, Striker's probably already got a secondary TC and thus is ahead, and you just can't match him. If you go for this play instead, you can get raw bloodlines, and although you don't have a huge economy to push a lot of knights, each of those individual knights is worth a lot. Tech Up comes through. Certain. That's got his first Lancers out, but that's not exactly how you want to use them. Walls have gone up on the northern side, so no one will be playing up here anytime soon. In fact, walls are up pretty much everywhere but the south. You see that did get intercepted before Koinu could complete it. Chinese build fast, but not that fast. Monastery also spotted being built up, so they're going to slow that one down. I love how they're once again double downing on Dark. I think this is too much now, but they've kind of been limited by Koinu walling off, right? So this is their only option. They're actually throwing Dark to the walls on purpose at this stage. They just keep saying, you be the bottom, right? You take the hits, we'll win the game for you. It's a good way of playing through your freeze. It's the most efficient way, actually. It's paying a lot of attention as well. Villagers caught out in the middle of nowhere. Chase is going to be given over. Maneuver arrow will at least get Zertin away. It was already used by B, so he can't mirror that move. They'll push them back past the apex at the moment. Lancer count is getting big, though. Warlord attempt is going to be a big fat nope. The Knights are going to be forced to clash now. They are veteraned up. Striker can't take this fight. That's the problem. It looks deceitful, right? You look at what Team 2 have. These purple and red Knights, you're like, oh, they should win. No, these are veteran Royal Knights. They'll beat Lancers. They'll definitely beat the purple Royal Knights that are still just feudal units. Their Spearman follow-up behind is going to make short work of whatever remains. And this is a free stacked assault right now. All 3 players from the southern team are involved. The Mongol base might need to leave soon if they're not careful. But where would you go? Knight count from Dark is at least shrinking. Spearman count still looking healthy, though. They could begin to dive and take out these bashes more or less for free, but looks like instead they're going to show some restraint. Has Zertin... Okay, he has been setting up some trade. Not much, though. He's behind B for sure. Like, B's trade count up to 16. Zertin's probably at 8. 7. I was being generous. Yeah, so Mongol comparison, B is miles ahead. The only upside is Striker is at least now moving up into Castle Age, but behind all of this, remember, those Dark went for Castle Age first. He's now getting the secondary TC, so he's not going to be falling further behind. Of course, there is always the Chinese factor. Still only the 1.5 TC effective. He didn't go for the secondary TC as the Chinese, but still means it's pretty efficient and matching up well against a lot of these civs. Also love the Gathering on Stone. Koinu might be looking for a keep drop in no man's land next to the town center. In the meantime, actually, he's using that stone elsewhere. He's looking to build up those stone walls on the southern side. Still a few choke points to funnel through, though. A lot of villagers have been sacrificed to try and get this up. Not really sure it's been worthwhile either. Salami will mirror a move like that in the center, but he won't lose villagers for it. Once again, Team 1 going the offensive, but you got to feel they've got to find a way in, right? Like, you keep doing this back and forth, step to, step from. You're not getting anywhere. And the longer you wait, the more likely this is to happen. Salami is now switching into Knights also. And we do finally see the extra TC. I was wondering when Koinu was going to invest in this. Very delayed timing, actually. Almost 16 minutes in. That will, of course, put him up to 3 TC effective, which is higher than any other player on this map right now. And the Knights... Oh, I think Dark sniffed it out. This could be crippling. Zertan, he doesn't have the safe points for all these outposts. They haven't been set up yet. And they need to get all armies in position to punish Dark when he goes in for this. And the timing could not be worse for Dark. He doesn't sniff out trade. If he had been a little bit quicker or a little bit slower, he'd know what he needs to. But instead, he doesn't know that the ponies are trading. Instead, they'll just have to walk away. Zertan will breathe a sigh of relief as he keeps his economy alive. That could have flatlined him. Even if they just idled out for a while, that would have hit hard. Behind this last, the walls. Where they're going to go up. Zertan will pick up and go for a wall lol, but instant reaction. Good thing the Knight got involved. It won't go off. Although now that annoyingly blocks any wall from going up for the relic drop location. And Striker giving chase here. Koinu seems to have been left in the dust by his teammates. Fuchiganu going down, but I'm wondering who's going to look towards that Imperial Age timing. It looks like B might be the one running for it. He's set up really well for it. Yeah, you can see the intent already. Gold income is good. Food is looking healthy. He's left the room for the White Stupa. This is definitely going to be an Imperial Age rush now by B, and it's enabled by the fact that they set up stone walls. So no quick access point for their opponents when they hear the tech up. Keep players now coming out in the French from the north. Looks like that hasn't been mirrored yet by Dark. Interesting. I would have expected maybe a keep near the center, just try and create a proxy base, get those discounts going. This is going to lean in favor of Dark over time, because Striker rather over time, because it just means he's getting better bang for buck, right? Only paying a healthy discount on these Knights compared to Dark. You know, you got the 240 resources compared to the 192. Good savings. And B, he's one of the few players I see do this, actually. In 1v1s and in team games, he went for the Kurultai. It's a respectable play, actually. I think it's definitely underrated, especially in team games, considering this. The Kurultai aura does affect teammates. Remember, it's a lingering aura. Wait, no, they changed it, didn't they? I'm an idiot. Ignore me. Man, why did they change it, though? I feel like Kurultai is 10 times harder to use correctly now because of that detail. It's already annoying because you have to have the Khan in range. Remember the change they made to Kurultai recently, because it used to linger, I think, for 20 seconds or something. They changed it now so that you always heal, regardless if the Khan's in range. But now, you only get the extra damage if the Khan is in range, and then you have to stay in range. I'm gonna be real, you guys. I think they've made this landmark far too difficult to use. And the upsides of using it still don't feel that impactful. 25% is a lot. But because the aura is so small, it's difficult to utilize. Just check this, look. It's pretty baby level, right? Like, you'd have to pat this up and always keep moving it. It's very much an all-in type play, and I like the idea of these type of landmarks where it's like, I'm making myself stronger, but there's a big risk I lose it. The downside, however, is in a lot of these games, whenever you reach later in, something like the Kurultai becomes worthless because you're just exchanging armies constantly, right? It's just a Congo line of death troops, the meat grinder. It's not like you lose one army and that feels really impactful. So the upsides of the Kurultai get heavily diminished as the minutes go on. And I think that's something they need to adjust with this landmark. What's going up now from Salami? Looks like Zertan is going to hold the choke point with all the crossbows. And there's going to be a defensive arrow coming out from B, just trying to stand his ground as long as possible and stop the walls from going up. behind this. There are going to be some raids in by Striker. A lot of things he can strike upon here as well. Spears are going to pinch him, but I mean, realistically, something that he doesn't realize due to vision, he could have taken that fight very comfortably. Instead, he'll back away, though. Show some respect over. Looks like Dark will not show respect the same way. They breached the tiny wooden walls, and now Dark is in. Striker never walled up over here. His reactionary stonewalling. It's going to take too long as well. Teammates are coming to assist. Striker's pulling the whole army back, but when you pull them back here, B is going to go in on the southern side. And the problems are just going to resume elsewhere. Looks like they are already in. They're starting to pick apart some of the trades. Zertan's at least going to clean up the few straggler lancers, but now there's a concern that you get the Benny Hills going, pulled north, pulled south, back and forth as you go. Something that seems all too feasible, especially if B decides to start setting up some military infrastructure on the south side. Looks like for the moment, he's happy to just have these outposts giving yam, so his troops can move to each flank quicker. More villagers just trying to complete the wall in. I'm pretty sure Salami's lost the most villagers by a mile in this game. Looks like he'll keep a few of them alive at least. Dark is just going to waste more time. Rather buy it so you can bring in more troops. Knights also pinch around the side, and I mean, you're seeing the issue here. You're actually seeing the clear difference, right? The reason that this game looks so much more comfortable for Team 1 were Koinu's walls. He walled early, he walled wide, he even came back for stone walls afterwards, or at least is attempting to. And Salami is at least going to get in before those walls go up. That is very important. Bad news for him, however, is Dark's second wave of Knights is already on the way, so unlikely that the English Knights get much done here other than the initial villager kills. Nesta Bees also being prepped. So once you create these funnel points, the choke point fights, it's going to benefit now the Nesta Bees the most. Especially with the stone walls, remember. Spring Walls can't snipe through them. Nesta Bees can shoot over them. Dark is just buying time for reinforcements to arrive here. B is up. We wondered when it was coming. It was heavily delayed by the renewed aggression, but he finally done it. Imperial Age is unlocked. Food rates are about to boom. Remember that he also went for the secondary TC, so we have plenty of villages to put on food and wood. And the rest of his economy is going to come from this trade. Nesta Bees is a bait here. A very big bait. It looks like Salami tried to take it down, lost several knights for it. Once this choke point is closed, defense is going to be very difficult for Team 2. Striker is going to try to look for these raids still, but with the stone walls now up here, there's no way in. In fact, stone walls across the board now. You just need to get the Trebs online, and I'm glad to see this from Zertan. He creates an opening. He's on the move. And the outpost spam from B instantly. Makes sense, remember. He's up in Imp, so he's got cannons. That means if they've got enough cannon placements down there, they can all focus their firepower north side. At least their mobile firepower. Looks like Dark might be the third player up. Yeah, Zertan's going to beat him to the punchline. So it's going to be the Mongol players winning the race here. That's the power of the trade, though. Dark will now look to make his way up, and it is going to be the Red Palace. I'm expecting it over here somewhere. Instead, though, he goes for the central location. I do believe the Team 3D are prepping for a Sacred Site win condition. And this is a pretty sexy play, right? You've got the cannon placement outpost going off the south side. You're now going to have a Red Palace in the center that will butcher anything that comes nearby it. And then you're pushing all of your troops from all three players north. Pretty crafty. And the cool thing is, if they leave some openings in the walls on the east and central, they can always just rush a few cavalry units through there. So it's not like you can just say, yeah, but if they all go north, Team 2 can all go north as well. No, Team 2 is going to have to put out fires in the flanks. Sure, outposts being set up a beat. Yet to upgrade them with the cannon emplacements. Feels like he's going to need some troops here to clean up the Trebs first. Dark will at least be here to assist. Salami has been forced to man the walls. Looks like they lost the battle in no man's land. Apparently Dark, he was struggling with his economy. He just got sent a big chunk of cheddar by B. course, that's the benefit of the Mongol player. Just able to get so much gold income that he can share it around. In fact, you can see the number there, almost 3K per minute. As Dark can renew the push into Knights. Knights that are incredibly bulky. Should be upgraded soon as well. Elite status coming through in 10. And it looks like the Swarm is going to be on top of the crossbows. Zertin needs to stand his ground. They are at least elite crossbowmen, but overwhelmed. There's just too many Knights here. So crossbow battalion is going to disappear. Zertin needs to be careful as well because he's the shortest player in terms of distance from this fight. It's going to be short an army to defend with. Trebs are going to be cleaned up. Behind this, I want to see what Dark is up to. What Striker is up to, rather. I don't know why I keep getting Striker and Dark mixed up. They are both French. Striker and Salami, what is the comp and what are they aiming for? Because I haven't really seen their involvement. No, they're going full greed. I think Striker and Salami both want to tech up, which is very dangerous at this stage. Like, you just saw all these Knights. They've been amassed on your borders. The stone walls won't last forever. Like, you need troops to defend. There's only so much Zertin can do to cover you now. But this is the layering to team games, right? One player reaches max tech, then he says, I'm going to cover the rest of you. Get up fast. It just feels like it's not that quick. I mean, Striker is still lacking in the gold department. Plenty of TCs, plenty of production, but slow to get his way up into Imperial Age. Salami is finally on the way, though, and it is, as expected, going to be the Wingard Palace on the front line. Okay, so this is very dangerous to do. If your Wingard Palace gets placed like this, if you ever start losing fights, you lose your Wingard first. You lose your efficient way of producing expensive units like the trebuchets in the late game. They're so important for the English. It looks like the French have joined in on the trade too. Love this number, by the way, 322. Very good meme in the esports world. Seems appropriate a CIS player has that meme. I like how it's variable as well. Some of these guys get 324, 323, and 321. So weird. Not a bad thing also for the French player to do, because remember, he can always switch a route to different types of resources to return. It doesn't have to be gold, it can be wood or food instead. Used to be that you could get stone. They most recently took that away, though. No Civ can use traders to get stone anymore. Except the Mongols, right? I think the Mongols... No, I think they had it removed as well, right? No, there it is. Yeah, you can still get it. Stone commerce is coming through in a sec. I wondered why it wasn't there already. Yes, I think Mongols are the only ones, right? I think they even removed it for Abbasids, if I recall correctly. There you go, guys. Mongols got buffed. Finally. The real buff. We never saw it come out once in the tournament in Wallalow, but that's the true buff. It's the hit in the Sacred Site timer we talked about. I don't like the comp that's coming from Salami. I understand the logic behind the men-at-arms. Like, he's just trying to efficiently reach these sacred sites, but they're so slow and all these outposts. I think you just need to rush trebs right now. I don't mind men-at-arms if you've got the eco to just force out a bunch of trebuchets, but if you're waiting for Wingard Palace armies, your escalation is going to be very delayed here. And that means that timer is ticking down. The pressure is going to add up. You need someone else to maybe assist you with trebs, but right now, looks like Zertin might be the one needing assistance here. B and Dark making their way in. Bombards can at least take out those walls if they want to. Instead, they don't care. They're going to go deep because they want to get rid of the trade. If they remove the trade, Zertin isn't a factor anymore. It's also the fact that by going to the back corner, they can force their opponents to react on the opposite side of the map away from the sacred sites. That's their true desire from this, their true objective. The Knights are in. You can see Zertin just have to back away. They can only back away so long. So he has to turn around and fight. So many heavy cavalry units here. And I mean, I don't know where the armies are. Salami looked like he didn't want to react. Instead, he's trying to go down the center. Meanwhile, Dark, or Striker rather, just isn't involved. He's going north. He's trying to breach. But this isn't the correct read. Because this Nesta Bees army will wipe you out. So he needs to be incredibly careful on the approach here. Yeah, so here's the issue now. Striker just got baited into a 1v1 via versus Koinu. Meanwhile, your other two players are being massacred by Knights deep in their economy. Now, the good news is we're getting to a stage where eco is getting so big that you don't necessarily run out. The bad news is that's only really true for Team 1. Look at B and Dark's eco in the bank. Then look at the other players in this game. You know, Striker's the only one who can keep it up long term, really. And he's the one in the north who's in that 1v1 versus Koinu. Oh my god, the Knights, they're doing so much damage as well. They just won't stop. You've at least got the Yam, the maneuver arrow to try and gap close fast from Zertan, but it's still so much damage done. Remember, it's not just the caravan, the trade loss for Zertan. All these villages that Salami is losing right now is both food and gold being lost because he is relying on that late game eco for the English via the enclosures. And he's dying for it. I think they have one shot, one opportunity at breaking the defenses in the center, and that's it. Maybe north side could be a better option, because at least then you don't have to contest with the red pass, but you do have to contest the mass nest of bees. Crossbow starting to push out as well. I mean, this cannon placements, all of it is just a problem. Notice that Koinu is pushing out 1 or 2 troops at a time to force all the spears to group. Once they group, they get wiped out by the cannonballs and the nest of bees. Those nest of bees, I mean, they're just going to target him down. That's the main army gone. Striker's going to be forced to replace, and he's going to have to do so fast. I just don't think he can do it fast enough. Meanwhile, Dark is still just running around the English base like it's nothing. It's like, oh, what is this unguarded territory for me to take? Oh, bien. You seem to have left it unguarded, monsieur. I must take your trebuchet. Your trebuchet. And now he has to build the siege workshop. I mean, imagine this game if Salami done this 2 or 3 minutes ago, the amount of trebs you could have had. Maybe you get the red palace down and then you can flood mid-map, but it's the classic of the English. They want that slow, efficient production. And he's also trying to push so many other units, it feels almost impossible to mass trebuchets alongside it. As a result, I mean, you're not looking long for this world anymore. Men-at-Arms are at least going to intercept B's second wave, but this is all now just a distraction. A ploy. Pay attention to your base so that you don't pay attention to the sacred sites, and it is working. Koinu is in as well. Striker fell apart in the blink of the eyes, right? That nest of bees wiped his spearman. Once that was gone, I just don't see the new army. They're not coming anymore. I mean, Striker has the resources. It just seems like they're not coming out quick enough. In fact, Striker, he definitely has the pop cap room. He's only 100 eco units. So plenty of room to push military, just isn't able to get it out fast enough. In fact, if I check and see that military academy has not been... Oh my... Oh... It hurts. It's the type of thing you would easily forget. It's the type of thing you probably feel like you can't afford, because although you can afford the 350 resources for military academy, you then have to ask, can Striker afford the strain on his economy to produce that many troops? And I'm not sure he can. And I'm not sure he ever will at this stage. And this is pretty much done at this stage. Just great reads coming out. Interesting early aggression from Team 2, and it's crazy to think how different things could have been maybe if the timing was altered or if they found a way of blocking Dark's food as well. But great choice to throw Dark under the bus, and great way that he recovered in this late game. I love the fact that B and Koinu gave enough assistance to make sure their teammates survived, but they didn't overinvest. They didn't get sucked into the cyclone that is early defense. Instead, they looked for their own greed, their own boom up, and it's why they're now a mile ahead. And I love this small detail in this fight here. The Kurultai is kicking in this combat. You're just seeing them outlast. The heals coming through, and it just means that you always lose in this fight. But this is a small moot detail. The bigger details in that early game, that choice to prioritize their own economy, got them miles ahead here, and it's why this is going to end now in a Team 1 victory. I mean, they're even pushing into Salami's base. They're pushing everywhere. Love the fact that Dark also has been this flexi tool from the early factor where he was the person getting abused by the enemy team to what he does now. He's on both flanks all the time. East and west, whatever's best for his team to stay alive in this, on their win condition in the sacred sites. He's been there. He's been everywhere that they needed. And that's impressive, man. To do that after being the person that got the crap kicked out of him early on this game is no small feat. But damn, did he do it well. I think the end is approaching. Yeah, there's the GG. Striker, it was 3 minutes away from a Sacred Site victory, but at this rate, they're all going to die before the Sacred Site completes. So cool, GG. Great plays coming out from the West team to take the double in the pit.